What's going on, traders? John with Tactical Trading here. First and foremost, want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. Take advantage, get away from the markets, and get back at it Friday. We're probably going to have a slow day on Friday. We had a decent turnaround for some of these OTC tickers yesterday and today. I think Friday we should see a little bit of the same. It's going to be slow. Not a lot of money in the markets right now. Not a lot of money pouring in. I do think next week we should see a little bit of a rebound. So, I definitely could be wrong, but right now I think a lot of these tickers, a lot of these OTC tickers are right now. I mean, a lot of them you're seeing in 30 RSI, 20 RSI, even lower. I mean, these things are beat down, oversold, and they're eventually going to snap back. The good ones will. So first, we want to touch on a ticker we've been talking about on this since the spring. This is GVSI. Lately, we've been talking about it, saying, we're kind of anticipating this merger, even to the fact that we thought we knew who was coming in, and that's not the case. Did get a little bit of bad news. I don't know if it's really bad news. I'm not really too concerned about it. I was actually going to hold this ticker in the next year anyways, but we got a tweet from George Sharp stating, I did everything I could to avoid this necessity, but could no longer be avoided. We will have to wait a little longer for GVSI, and I'm not happy about it. This ticker is costing me a fortune. The screw-up by previous management is no surprise, considering all their other screw-ups. And if you go to the tweet, there was a class of preferential shares that they couldn't find or something like that, but they have to withdraw the Form 10 and then refile it in December. I don't know if this is going to take another 60 days. I'm going to assume that it's going to take 60 days, being that towards the end of the year, from September to now, the OTC markets and SEC has been absolutely flooded. I don't know if that volume will be down in order to expedite the process going forward into the early next year once he refiles his Form 10. Or if he does file to get it expedited, I have no clue. I'm going to just figure on this taking to probably mid to late January. And if it happens sooner, then it happens sooner. But really no point in touching on this unless we find anything out from now till then. So still holding tight, not selling a share. Wouldn't really make sense selling a share of GVSI right now. If we go to, we can go to the chart real quick. Really wouldn't make much sense to sell this thing. Bear with me. For some reason, my charts are not staying up the way they should, but that's all right here. If we just look at the 3-month chart, this thing was holding up pretty well right around the 4-cent range until today. This thing dropped all the way down to about 2.25, closed about 275. I think that gap's going to fill by the time this thing goes pink current anyway. So regardless, it is what it is. Next play I want to talk about is one that I touched on the last video on OTC Saturday, and this is OCL Gold, OSCI. I sold whatever I bought and would implore you to do the same. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to tell you what to buy, what to sell. If you think these guys... First, let me go over what's going on here. These guys were a little more than misleading, and they're playing it off like they weren't being misleading. And there's a lot of people still defending them and saying they are not being misleading, but this is why I believe this, and it's irrefutable why I believe this. We take a look here at the Twitter. And just bear with me 1 second. I just got to get down to the... I'll get down to one of their tweets right here. And they did change their information, but they had a tweet the other night that said, now, first, when I gave you the story, their tweet and PR was that they were having, they had signed a letter of intent with a TV show or a production for a TV show. And then the stock did go down after that. Then they put out a tweet later that afternoon that they had partnered, quote unquote, partnered with Savona Equipment, and that would speed up their excavation 3 times, or their production 3 times. Then somebody, a shareholder or somebody who questioned this partnership, got a hold of Savona. Savona had gotten back to them and basically said, not a chance. They bought something off us a few years back. They got a few quotes. That's as far as it went. We're very disappointed that they're part of that we've been, basically named in their stock pump. If that was you, I would save your money now. Let's put our thinking caps on like we did then. So if this, now mining's got to be a small knit community, I would imagine. I would imagine Savona knows Osceola. They bought equipment from, they've dealt with each other before. They know the land that they have. Do you think they would thumb their nose in such a way in a response if one, they knew they were going to buy equipment off them, or thought there was even a chance they'd buy equipment off them, and 2, thought there would be a chance of TV cameras putting a spotlight on their company and selling more equipment? Absolutely not. And they basically said, get out of here, man. These guys ain't doing nothing. This is a stock pump. So that's red flags all over the place. Now, these guys may have the $4 billion in gold sitting under the ground. And if it's there, somebody's going to come get it. Whether it's them or whether it's somebody else, or they have to pay these guys to get them out of the way to get the gold. However it happens, that gold's getting pulled out of the ground. So that gives these guys some type of value. But the fact that they were dishonest about that tells me that they were very interested in short-term gains for their stocks. When a company shows me that they're more interested in short-term gain rather than long-term gain, that tells me they have stock to sell. There's no other reason that someone would be more interested, a CEO would be interested, or someone involved in the company would be interested in short-term gain unless they had stock to sell into it. Otherwise, the long-term gain is just fine, because that's what their objective is. So let's just think about that. Now, I'm not trying to burst any bubbles. I could be dead wrong on this. These guys could be sitting on gold. TV cameras can show up and boom, this stock's $3, and here I am like, man. But when I see all those red flags waving, I'd rather just pass. There's money to be made elsewhere. So that's just me. And again, I am not a financial advisor. So let's move on. We're going to touch on one of our favorites. That's Fern Corporation. This thing closed at 0.0313 on modest volume, almost 14 million. We're going to take a look at the chart here for Fern. A little something that I kind of noticed on Fern over the last, and we'll go to the 6-month chart. If you look here back in the end of July, we had that run up to the high 2s. It kind of pulled back down, pulled a cup and handle. Once it broke those high 2s, you can see this red candle here in mid-September, right after that big green candle. It came down to test those highs. See, this was resistance. It broke the resistance, and now it became support, and then bounced all the way back up to these highs. And then you could see 3 other times, early October, early November, and just now, we have now touched those high 2s of between 270 and 280, 290, and right in that area. It's going to be hard to see on the video itself, but there's some pretty long wicks on some of these candles here to the downside. So it looks like this resistance has become support. And it looks like we're getting a triple bottom. I'm going to be doing a video on Fern itself, probably over the next couple weeks, week or two. This is one that's one of my favorites going into 2022. So we'll be covering this one going into next year as well too. So 2 stocks I want to cover real quick. JPEX. This is one we like here. Man, I wish I was able to get you the call on the video if this thing was about 1.5 cents just 2 days ago. Oh man. But one we may be able to catch that I think is very similar. Now, if we take a look at the chart of JPEX, they got the news that they will be discharging that custodianship pretty soon. We take a look at the chart here. You can see again how these charts kind of play out. The old resistance from back here in August has become support here. We're right under about 1.50 to 2 cents. And you can see 2 strong candles here. Looks like this thing's turning around, good float. VMO's coming in. They're going to be changing over the custodianship and handing over the keys to VMO. So this is one I'm definitely looking at. 2 big green days. We may get a slight pullback, but I'm not too worried if you're looking long term here. Another play that's very similar to this that has not had its breakout yet and has not had its bounce back, and that is All American Pet Company, or Cora AAPT. I definitely like this one. They closed at 0.0143. 20 million in volume today, good volume. You can see this one, since they had the merger, this thing has just had a precipitous slide downwards. And you can take a look here. Back here is some resistance, and that's coming up soon. I think we should hit that, and I think we'll get a reversal. We have some catalysts coming up. I mean, the branding change, name change, and we also have other catalysts coming with this. So I really like AAPT. This is, like I said, that and JPEX are very similar plays that I think they got their merger and just, JPEX had that little blunder with the PR, but I think they've kind of corrected their ways with that, and hopefully that's a catalyst that we're looking forward to, that they still have that contract, and that would be a nice boom for JPEX. AAPT, again, they've got some catalysts coming up, and they have not had their bounce, so this is definitely what I'm looking at, and this one's high on the radar. One I picked up today, and that's OWUV, One World Universe Inc. This one closed at right about 4.5 cents on 12.5 million volume. Very high volume for what they typically have. So the relative volume's through the roof over here on this one. And let's just take a look at the last 3 months. We got a nice 4-bar play setting up here. I mean, this is not really in-depth charting here, but I mean, if you want to look at it, we got nothing but blue skies over to the left of the chart. We got a very high volume, strong green candle, 2 resting bars right here, and if we break 5 cents here, I think this thing can go, and that's technically. Let's take a look at the Twitter on why I like this thing. First, want to give a shout out to Insider Financial. They've got a good article on this company here, and that's Insider Financial. So I like the article. Really brought my eye. The article's about a week old, I think. About a week old. I just read it the day before yesterday and did some research on this company. I think this thing's worth a shot with the share structure. We'll go back to that share structure. But if we go to their holding company, J. Craig Holding, they'll have 3 acquisitions by the end of the year. One will be announced next week, and that's going to be the Metaverse one. I'll show you that. Here it says that they'll have their number 2 acquisition, which will be by the end of the year, and this will be sports related. And this opportunity will consist of an innovative product that can and will produce sales globally. So that's pretty interesting. They had a PR today about a movie production and some NFL deal that they had with a movie. I'm not very interested. I could care less about that. That's not what I'm interested in. That's not what I'm here for. We go here, and that's actually this PR here, their news. You can go and read it. It is interesting. This is about their second acquisition. And it says, going to be a busy next 7 weeks for the company. One, first acquisition will be in the metaverse sector. So that's very interesting. So next week we will get a merger in the metaverse sector. And I want to show you another thing here. that they're also going to be doing a share buyback. Let's see here. So I see it, and here's the tweet right here. And it goes a quote from One World Universe Inc. Is quote unquote, "I am buying back stock to transfer it back to the Treasury," and that's Karen Currier, the CFO, and that was just 5 days ago, on November 19th. So they're going to be also buying back stock. And then here I want to show this here, how many shares. They asked Karen. She said she is not done. We don't have a number yet. So they're still buying back stock. They've got 3 acquisitions coming. What's not to like about these guys? Hey, anything can happen. I said the same thing about OSCI, and then all of a sudden they proved me a jackass. So, or they proved themselves a jackass. They lied to me. I was only presenting you the information. Probably should have passed the sniff test, but sometimes, it doesn't, especially in a slow market. You see something like this, you think people are going to, gravitate to it. But, this one I like. Karen Currier's involved. She's the one that brought the ILS merger. So we'll see. Can't make any guarantees. Don't even know what the company or what capacity they have in the metaverse, but they have a merger, and we'll see. Have another interesting play I want to bring up on OTC Saturday. I was going to bring it here. I'm going to bring it on Saturday. This thing ain't going nowhere for probably another couple of weeks, but it's been on my radar for a while. This thing's a very low dubs play. Has a lot of big things going on, and it just started. I think the wheels just started moving the past couple days, so it's something I'm really interested in. So, that's all I got for you today. You guys have a blessed Thanksgiving. Enjoy your holiday. We'll get back to the grind on Friday. I think we're slow on Friday, but we may pick up a little bit, get a little action on Friday. I think we do pick up next week, though. So that's all I got for you today. We will see you on Saturday with OTC Saturday. As always, please like, please share, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, please put them in the comment section below. And as always, traders, let's get that money.